Hello and welcome to EcoElsa. Teachers and parents, are you uncomfortable of taking your kids outdoors because you're afraid of getting questions that you don't know the answers to? Well, coming up, we'll be going over 3 methods to help you learn skills to handle questions outdoors that you don't know the answers to. Can't touch this. Many teachers cite one of the main reasons they're uncomfortable with teaching outdoors being because they aren't as familiar with nature and are afraid they're going to get a lot of questions that they don't know the answers to. So here are 3 methods to help you handle students' questions outdoors. The first method is showing students that it is okay to struggle, that learning is a process and that they're going to make mistakes and that's okay. Make it a safe environment where everyone feels comfortable making mistakes and growing and learning. A lot of students come into learning having a fixed mindset where if they don't get something right away or they don't understand something right away or they're not good at something right away, then they obviously are stupid and bad at it. And this is not what we want. We want to have a growth mindset for your students and you and for the whole class. A common saying teachers use with students is fail really stands for first attempt in learning. And students may or may not listen to that, but teachers, you know what they will really help them is showing them that even you struggle. Learning through struggle can teach students a lot of skills like persistence. And teachers, you're going to be able to help them learn that a lot better if you show them that you also struggle through learning, but you keep at it anyways, and that they should too. Teachers, I know this may be a little bit hard for you. A lot of us are very comfortable feeling like we know the answers to everything, especially when we're in the habitat that we feel the most comfortable in and not the habitats we feel the least comfortable in. So teachers, if you come into the outdoors feeling like, oh, I have to know the answer to everything because that's how it works in my classroom, you're going to really stress yourself out. That you having a growth mindset, even just for yourself, will make the class a lot easier on yourself. You won't feel like you have to know the answer or come up with an answer at that very second the kid asks a question, even if it might not be the right one. Be honest. Tell them, hey, I don't know the answer, but going along with our second method, I think it might be this because. So the second method is teaching students how to be a scientist. So when scientists come across a problem that they don't know the answer to, they come up with these things called hypotheses. And it's an educated guess on something based off of what little information they have before, previous experience, or observations that they have just made. Now, teaching your students how to be a scientist is great, and it also is part of a lot of different curriculum standards. So you can do this by going, okay, I don't know the answer to this, but do you guys want to make an educated guess? Depending on the age of your students, you might teach them what a hypothesis is, or you might just teach them what an educated guess is if they're a little bit younger. And you show them that you're coming up with what their reason they think for something is, and then what evidence they have to support this. This will help teach the scientific method, and it allows for adding on other things to help teach the scientific process. So you have a student come up with a hypothesis, and then you have a couple other students come up with their own hypotheses. Then you have the rest of the class weigh in on which one they think is more correct and what evidence help them make their choice. This will help your students learn how peer review works, or at least start to learn how peer review works. If you are going to do this method, it is best to take a step back. This method is a lot better if it's more student-led because they really are grabbing their own learning by the horns and following through with it. By having the students trying to reason out what the answer is to the question they have, you are helping them learn good reasoning skills and how to make connections and develop an understanding between the things that they knew before and the observations that they're making right there in that moment. And if you as the teacher weigh in too early in this process on what you think is the correct answer, your students are just going to go along with what you believe because you're the teacher and the adult, and in their mind at least, you're more likely of being correct even if you don't know what it is you're talking about. And lastly, you may have to, depending on what it is, discuss that there might not be no one right answer, that identifying what kind of eggshell from what bird it came from or what kind of animal tracks they are, you may not be able to find one correct answer, that there may be just a couple of different ones, and that's okay. As the students are coming up with their hypotheses, then start talking with them about how they're going to find the answers to it, and maybe how they're going to disprove some hypotheses, and some hypotheses may end up being more correct than others. You may have an idea then of what the third method is. So our third method is going to be using resources to find the answers to their questions or their hypotheses. If you help students develop the skills for how to go about finding the answers, how to use different resources to find answers, you're not just helping them there in that moment, you're helping them have the independence to go about finding answers to questions they have in the future. There are a lot of different resources out there, and this also provides you a good opportunity to talk to your students about what makes a resource a good resource to use. You know, Wikipedia versus Google, The Onion versus The Guardian, etc., etc. A simple way to get started with this is bringing out into the woods with you field guides and different identification sheets. You can show your students how to use those resources to start with, since they don't require service or batteries, and also get the students reading and using some of their other skills and maybe meeting some other standards in class. It's really then student self-led. You set them loose in the woods with whatever it is, the plant identification sheet or the tracking sheet, and let the students go about figuring out what different tracks are based on the sheet. Just encourage them to actually use the sheet if you are familiar with this, and what evidence they have to support that this is in fact a wolf footprint and it's like this big. Next, if you do have service outdoors or later on when you go back into the classroom, you can use electronic resources then to see how the students did with their hypotheses, or if there's any other resources that can help with identifying. Now, like so many things, the closer to the source, the more accurate it's going to be. So while using government websites and different websites that specialize in something are really good, you may also want to consider looking at different research studies. Now, depending on the level of the research, the word choice that they use, and the level of your students' reading comprehension, this may or may not work too well, but it's definitely a good idea to start doing with the middle school, high schoolers, to get them into that mindset of, I have a question about invasive species, and it's similar to the hypotheses in this different research study. So I'm going to look through this study and see what they found and tie it back into what my questions were to see if I can come up with an answer. You know, connecting all these dots of learning, observation, doing, previous experience, and new information. It's a beautiful, beautiful learning process. Teachers and parents, another resource that you can use is an app called iNaturalist. You can get this program on your phone, iPad, tablet, whatever it is you use with your kids, to help you with identifying things that you don't know what they are. So how it works is you take a picture of the insect or the plant that you don't know, and you upload it onto the site. Now, if it's a clear enough photo, after a few days or few weeks, scientists will go in and they will identify what it is for you. You can put tags on it yourself. If you think it's in the beetle family, you can put beetles on it, and the scientist will figure out what it is in further detail. This also is a form of citizen science, and it can show your kids how to be scientists. Additionally, besides it helping you identify things that you don't know what they are, it also helps scientists find things that they didn't know they were there. So potentially it's a rare plant or a rare insect or something they thought was extinct in an area. You take a picture, upload it, and all of a sudden they know there's something there, and they might start a research study there if it's something that interests them. A point of pride for me with iNaturalist is a few years ago, my boss and I were out hiking with some coworkers, and we found a spider that we didn't know what it was. We got pictures of it, we looked it up in field guides, we had no idea what this thing was. And so we uploaded it onto iNaturalist, and I think it was about a week later, a scientist tagged it and identified it for us, and it was a really rare species of spider that hadn't been seen in that area, which was super cool and really special, and we helped discover it, which was also really, really cool and a little nerdy, you know, but I liked it, so I keep doing it. There are many other similar apps and programs that you can get on your phone or iPad to use in class, but the reasons I like iNaturalist is because it combines a lot of these things all into one. It is a resource where you don't have to know what something is right away. You upload a picture and someone else will ID it for you, hopefully. Additionally, it's a tool for teaching citizen science with your students, and it's another resource that they can learn how to use. And it's all tied up into this one amazing app that also combines technology then, your kid's favorite thing. Unfortunately, that is all we have time for today. So please comment below or tweet me at Elsa Latecki if there were any other methods I didn't cover that are your favorite for handling students' questions outdoors, or to suggest videos you'd like to see in the future. If you liked this video, please click the subscribe button below so that you can be notified when my new videos go up, but I put new videos up on Wednesdays to help you take your kids outside. So, as always, I hope you have a fantastic week. You be safe, learn lots, have fun, and get your kids outdoors. Bye!